Hey, Bluebird, you copy? I know you think I sold you out, and...
Your rodent co-conspirator has clearly stashed his illicit units in there. I am...
GAMORA, I was just...
Who are you talking to? What's a bluebird?
It, was Yondu's call sign. He was Bluebird and I was the kid.
Let me get this straight. Yondu Udanta, leader of the Ravager's space virus, scourge of the Sirius system and all-around scoundrel, used Bluebird as his call sign?
Even had it embroidered on the back of his jacket.
Amazing.
It was amazing. Pretty much from the day we met.
How did you two meet? Terrans and Centaurians aren't exactly neighbors.
We met on CHITAURI Prime, about 3 years into my sentence.
Wait, Yondu was a prisoner of war? I thought the Ravagers were neutral.
They were, and they also weren't. The Ravagers had a simple code. Steal from everyone. Yondu said it made them neutral.
But they weren't. I specifically remember several CHITAURI transports being hit when I was still... you know.
They hit just as many resistance ships, until a CHITAURI cruiser uncloaked in front of them during a raid and...
Yondu ended up on CHITAURI Prime, with you.
After we broke out, he could have left me on some space station or dropped me off at the nearest Nova Corps base. But he didn't. Instead, he invited me to join the Ravagers.
You were with them a long time. Must have enjoyed it.
I did. Being a Ravager was the first time I felt like I really belonged, if that makes any sense.
I felt the same way when I joined Richard Ryder and the Resistance. Like I was finally in control of who I wanted to be.
Yes, exactly. Those first few years, it was like I had joined this really big, really dysfunctional family, which, now that I'm hearing it, would make Yondu my...
Space Dad?
Could have been worse. Yondu and I were cellmates. First thing he said when they put him in my cell was, "Boy, don't be going and getting attached, because I'm just here for the food." And the food was pretty terrible, so...
Yeah, that sounds like Yondu.
I had cellmates before, and none of them lasted long. The CHITAURI have these gladiatorial games, and...
You got used to people dying.
Not sure about that, but I didn't expect anyone to last long. I also didn't have my translation implant back then, so I might as well have been alone. But Yondu, he actually spoke English. Said he'd offered to translate in exchange for extra rations.
So even in that snake-infested hellhole, ever the schemer.
It's something we had in common. I'd been scheming for a way to escape since the day they took me. I just needed someone like Yondu to make it seem possible.
How did you escape?
Let's just say it was equal parts simple, complicated, and kind of embarrassing. But it ended with the two of us delivering a transport full of stolen supplies straight into the hands of the Resistance.
For a bucket-load of units too, I bet.
Anyway, once we did, there was no going back. I was a Ravager. Well, if you don't mind, I think I'd like to be alone for a bit.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'll see you around.
I am watching you, Tree.
Why does this thing look so sinister?
Hey, who said you could touch that? I don't go into your room and touch your stuff, Quill.
What? You hacked my visor and added a scoreboard to it while I was sleeping.
That was different. I improved it. Also, did anyone tell you that you snore? I thought DRAX was bad, but wow. Quill, you should really get that checked. You sound like a Torg.
I don't snore that loud.
Yeah, okay.
So what is this thing anyway? It kind of looks like a metal face hugger.
That is clearly a spinal control unit.
Yes, right, of course, a spinal control thingy.
Back on Half-World, Kree scientists use these to keep us super soldiers in line. They'd press a big, fun red button and zap! Instant obedience.
Holy crap. Rocket. How many of you super soldiers were there on Half-World?
When the Kree started, 100, maybe. By the time I escaped, just me and Lila. She was the first one not to die from the control unit.
And Lila is also a...
What? A raccoon?
Or not a raccoon?
You gotta understand. She was afraid of them, and the control unit made sure we stayed in line. That I stayed in line.
Oh, that sounds... awful. I can't imagine.
So, I did what I do best. I found a way to overload the control unit. When the Blueskins let us out of our cage, kaboom! I blew a hole into the side of the lab. What we didn't know, what I didn't know, was that the lab was protected by sentry bots. We got to the security fence and Lila covered me while I hacked the modulator frequency, and as soon as it opened, she pushed me through the door. I heard her die, Quill.
Ah, Rocket.
Doesn't matter now. Past is the past, right? And that thing, it's just a reminder.
What exactly did the Kree do to you?
They ripped me apart and rebuilt me over and over and over again until I became this half-finished thing they could mold and shape and control.
Oh, Rocket, I had no idea. I mean, I knew the Kree Empire was desperate, but...
Do you know what it's like to lose all control of your body? To be in constant pain, trapped inside yourself, unable to stop the horrible things you're doing? That control unit made sure I did what I was supposed to do. Oh yeah, whether I wanted to or not. A neat, furry little machine of death. Didn't take long to figure out I was better off not fighting it.
Okay. Then let's shoot this thing out the airlock. Have a little middle finger salute ceremony to the bastards who built it.
I don't think I'm ready to let go of that part of me yet. Maybe one day.
Are you 100% sure you want to keep it? What if it...
Controls me? I decided a long time ago, Quill, that I would never let anyone control me again. As far as I'm concerned, this is just another useful piece of junk and a few bad memories.
I'm sorry you had to go through all that, Rocket. For real.
No, that sounds better.
Looks broken. Maybe Rocket can fix it. Groot! Hey, buddy. I was just, checking to see if everything was okay. And it is. Okay.
I am Groot.
Too bad this translator's busted. I was hoping it might have Groot stored on it, or something.
I am Groot.
That way I could download it into my translator. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on stuff without, you know, Rocket always filtering it.
I am Groot.
Actually, hold that thought. Yo, Rocket!
What?
Can you come here for a sec?
What do you want, Quill? I'm busy.
Think you can see if this translator has Groot's language on it?
It doesn't.
You didn't even check.
Don't need to. Cheap scut like that don't have rare language packages, and even if it did, it's beyond salvageable.
Really? Wait, do you have Groot's language package installed in your translation implant?
Do I look like I'm made of units? Only folks who got that language package are rich people.
So you actually speak Groot then?
You mean Talinisan? And yeah, I speak it, more or less. Me and Groot been bounty hunting together for a decade before you came along, Quill. When you've been working together that long, you develop a common understanding.
I am Groot.
You say misunderstandings, I say open to interpretation.
I am Groot.
They didn't go sour. We didn't need those jobs anyway.
So you guys learned to understand each other over time.
And with the help of a spreadsheet of Groot's lexicon, which ain't no easy feat when your entire language sounds like I am in Groot.
So there's hope for us yet.
I am Groot.
You know, I didn't always have a translation implant. I mean, I was failing Spanish before I left Earth, not that Spanish would have prepared me for all of this.
I'm Groot.
Man, those first few years, do you know how hard it was to get by without having any idea what people were saying? Half of the languages out here sound like white noise, weird birds, and messed up theremins. I don't even want to know what Rocket actually sounds like. TV did not prepare me for the realities of living in space, let me tell you.
I am Groot.
Honestly, man, you're lucky you have Rocket. I mean, I know what it's like to be surrounded by people and have no one understand you, how lonely that can be. I'd have been lost. You must have been lost too, before Rocket and us.
I am Groot.
I probably don't say this enough, but you really are an important part of the team. I can't imagine the Gardeners of the Galaxy without Groot. And who knows? If this thing does have your language in it and Rocket can download it somehow or hack it or I don't know.
I am Groot.
It'd be nice to finally talk to you. For real. Glad we had this little chat.
I am Groot.
Awesome. Cool.
Are those CHITAURI handcuffs?
What? Oh, yeah.
Strange thing to collect. And I collect some pretty weird stuff.
Oh, it's not like that. I found him in the quarantine zone and I just kept him.
Why?
Don't know. As a reminder of who I used to be, how I got here, it's stupid.
Not necessarily. You want to talk about it?
I don't know if you know this, but my dad is kind of the king of Spartax.
I know.
You do? I mean, you do. Of course you do. You're you.
Yeah, and it's not exactly a secret. It's what I would have done, kidnap the progeny of a powerful leader to control them. I mean, Hela knows how long they kept you. Except that it was for the express purpose of keeping the Spartoi Empire from joining the Resistance.
4 years.
What?
4 years. That's how long they had me. 4 Earth years. And a few days.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. For a long time, I thought my dad would come get me. Raise an army, send in spies to break me out, something. But he didn't. Guess it wasn't politically advantageous.
Fathers suck sometimes. Trust me.
At least your dad wanted you. Even after the war, Mai wouldn't see me.
Want is a nice way of saying kidnapped. Make no mistake, Peter. You're not the only one who was stolen from their home. And 2, you went to Spartax?
Even had a speech worked out and everything. Hey, Dad, it's me. Your son you left to rot in a CHITAURI prison? It was that or punch him. I was undecided. Still am. Getting into the White House would have been easier.
White House?
Basically, my dad loves bureaucratic bullcrap. I thought being his only son would be enough to get me an audience. Turns out I needed an appointment.
The Spartoi Empire was in political shambles after the Galactic War.
He was too busy to see his kid? Yeah, I got the message loud and clear. I lost everything I ever loved because of him, and he wouldn't even look me in the eye.
I'm so sorry, Peter.
Don't be, I just really want to punch him. Ever been to CHITAURI Prime?
More times than I care to admit.
Then you know what it's like. How they're like. The scritching, scratching, hissing, reptilian stuff of nightmares.
Oh, yeah. Hard to forget.
I've seen some pretty messed up movies, but nothing came close to what it was like living on Chitauri Prime. I was just a kid. I didn't even know aliens were real until they showed up in my backyard. And now?
And now you're surrounded by aliens.
There aren't a lot of humans out here. Sure, there's a few of us kicking around.
Richard Ryder.
Right, that guy. Might as well be an alien. Point is, I'm pretty much alone. All because the Chitauri saw me as a valuable asset.
Not just the Chitauri. Thanos.
Of course, your dad was pulling the strings. I think I'd almost rather Thanos over those lizards.
I can promise you that Thanos would not have been the better option.
Maybe. I mean, do you know what the Chitauri do to their prisoners? The unvaluable ones? They throw them into an arena and make them fight monsters. They take bets, sabotage favorite prisoners by breaking a leg or an arm. All of it for their messed up insect entertainment.
You survived, Peter. Men stronger than Drax have been slaughtered in those arenas. You lived.
Yeah, I survived all right. As a bargaining chip.
Would you have preferred death?
I don't know. Back then, maybe. Now, not so much.
Then be glad you made it out at all. Helen knows I'm glad you did.
Anyway, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. I guess.
I am pondering our latest mission.
Can I help you?
Hey, Gamora! I was just admiring this super cool assassin ring I got from my favorite super cool assassin. As a token of my, you know...
Token of what?
Of my everlasting commitment to not being murdered by you.
It's gonna take more than a ring. It is really nice, though. How'd you know what kind of ring it is?
Oh, let's just say you're not the first assassin to cross my path. Though I guess I should be glad no one ever sent the deadliest woman in the galaxy after me.
You know, that name is actually a misnomer. Everyone thinks I got it doing Thanos' dirty work. Before, you know, I betrayed him. In truth, I got it after I joined the Resistance, on a mission where nobody died.
What did cause you to betray Thanos? I mean, he adopted you when you were like...
5. He basically raised us, taught us everything we know.
So what finally did it? What snapped you out of it?
I found the Resistance.
What?
Thanos was obsessed. He had me and Nebula combing the galaxy for their location for cycles. Each of us determined to be the first to find them and report back. So when I found them first, I was so excited to tell him. I got home, and I found him talking to an empty room. To someone called Lady Death.
That's not ominous.
I truly thought he loved us. In his own twisted way. But Thanos didn't want to restore balance to the galaxy. He was just in love with death, literally in love. And he would kill all of us, including me, including Nebula, to prove it.
But you couldn't let him.
No. So instead of telling him where to find the Resistance, I joined them.
You have to tell me about this Resistance mission, especially if no one died.
I don't think it's a story you're gonna like.
Why not?
Because it doesn't make Carell look very good.
Okay.
The thing you have to understand is that it was the end of the war. The Resistance was losing. Bad. The Chitauri knew it, Thanos knew it, we all knew it. But then, Thanos died. At first, people thought it was a false report. Misinformation spread to lure the Resistance out into the open. But when it became clear that it might be true, Corell saw an opportunity. An all-or-nothing mission that could win the war once and for all.
The final attack on CHITAURI Prime. You're talking about the Resistance stealth mission that kidnapped their infant queen.
Except kidnapping the Queen wasn't part of Corell's original plan. The only reason she had me tag along was so that I would kill the Queen.
What? There's no way.
Is it so hard to believe? She was grieving. You know that. The CHITAURI had killed her husband, her little boy. She wanted revenge, and I was her chance to finally get it.
Brel would never put out a hit on a baby. She would never kill a kid.
Believe what you want. But she's not who she was back then. None of us are. Something changed. Maybe it was having Nikki. Either way, I refused and we won the war without killing anyone else. And for reasons I don't fully understand, I became known as the deadliest woman in the galaxy afterward.
I, kind of don't know what to say.
There's nothing to say. After the Galactic War ended, I moved on. And now I'm here, doing all this fun stuff with you guys.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. But seriously, thank you for sharing that with me.
Sure.
Flarking holla. Oh, okay, it's over there.
According to this, the Collector reported GROOT stolen 14 years ago.
Can we help you?
Oh! Hey! Rocket, GROOT! Sup?
What are you doing snooping through Groot's scut, Quill?
I am Groot.
Well, maybe you should mind.
Whoa, guys! GROOT, I didn't mean to invade your space. Seriously, I would never do that. I was just curious about this report thingy I found.
Yeah, the report thingy that just so happens to bring up a lot of painful memories for Groot. Real smooth, Quill.
I am Groot.
It's not fine. The Collector kept you in a frickin' cage like some kind of animal. As if it weren't bad enough you lost your entire planet.
I am Groot.
Fine. Groot says he'll answer your stupid questions.
What happened to your homeworld?
I am Groot.
You never told me that.
I am Groot.
What did he say?
He says the CHITAURI blew it up with an experimental doomsday device.
Holy crap. That's awful.
I am
Ain't the worst part, Quill. Groot says after Planet X was blown up, the other branch worlds mobilized. But they weren't no match for the CHITAURI and also got destroyed.
I am Groot.
Far as he knows, he's the last of his kind.
Oh, Groot. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'd do if Earth was destroyed, if I was the last human.
I am Groot.
He says it's not so bad. He's got us.
How'd you end up with the Collector in the first place?
How do you think? He stole Groot.
I am Groot.
Fine, you tell it.
I am Groot.
He says the Collector found him at the start of the war, in the wreckage of his planet.
Holy crap.
But just a piece, a splinter. The rest got destroyed like everyone else.
Just a splinter. Does this mean you can't die?
I am Groot.
He can still die, but he ain't gonna, 'cause I ain't gonna let him. I'll replant you 1,000,000 times if I gotta.
So, how'd the Collector find you?
I am Groot.
A drone found him, dormant in space. Guess old Tiven scours the galaxy for new specimens.
I am Groot.
Slavery ain't the same as saving.
I am Groot.
He insists the Collector saved him by planting him, and also keeping him in a das cage until I stole him. Hence the stupid Flarkin report.
Is it still active, the report? Will the collector come collecting?
You see any gold domes around lately?
Fair enough. I know we don't talk a lot, Groot, for, you know, obvious reasons. But I can't imagine this team without you. I can't change the past, but I can't commit to making the future better.
He says he knows, and he's grateful.
Oh, why yes. I am the handsome leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Gamora, I was only looking.
Relax. I'm not gonna kill you. This time.
Okay, good.
I, actually never got a chance to say thank you for the doll.
Oh, no problem. I know how you like this kind of stuff.
It was very thoughtful. I can count on one hand the number of times someone has given me a present without expecting something in return.
Wow. Christmas gifts from Thanos must have really sucked.
That's putting it lightly. Thanos wasn't the giving type. Everything was a mind game designed to control us, gifts included. So thank yous aren't exactly my strong suit. Something Mantis says I need to work on.
How do you know Mantis? Did she give you one of her weirdo fortunes or something?
Not exactly. How do you know her?
I maybe tried to pick her up in a bar once.
And how'd that work out?
Good. Until she did the creepy antenna thing. I was half expecting her to start chanting, "Red Rum, Red Rum."
Red what?
Doesn't matter. Point is, she's a wacko for sure. A really hot wacko. Who happens to be your friend?
Yeah, well, that wacko saved my life. A few years ago. Someone got the jump on me. An assassin. Nearly killed me. Mantis happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Seems to have a knack for that.
Yeah. Turns out I had no idea how badly I needed someone like her in my life. Up until then, I'd been so lonely. After the war, the Resistance disbanded. Richard Ryder got busy with politics, and the world mind had no use for someone like me.
An assassin?
Something like that. Thanos trained me to be a weapon, not a peacekeeper. Once a weapon, always a weapon, you know?
Is that why Mantis mentioned suicidal urges? Because I get it. I've been there. I'm pretty sure we've all been there at some point.
Let's just say I'm not in that place anymore. Because of Mantis. She showed me another way. A place where maybe I can be needed.
What kind of gifts did Thanos give you? Weapons, poison, the metal wire thing you used to strangle people with?
He gave us dolls. Once. Stupid, ugly things from Xandar.
Wow, okay. That's surprisingly girly.
What? I can't be feminine?
No, just... I was really sure it was gonna be a knife or something.
Like I said, Thanos liked mind games. It was unusual for him to be kind. We didn't even have a bedroom, yet here were these dolls. Purposeless. And they were ours.
Do you still have it? Like, is it in your collection?
No. I lost the one Thanos gave me when I was 6. She was the ugliest doll I'd ever seen. I cried so hard when I lost her. Nebula hurt me. She loved her doll, and I knew she wanted another one. So when she came in to check, we started to fight.
Bet Thanos loved that.
He found us fighting, saw my tears, and laughed. Turns out, the dolls were a lesson on the importance of not getting attached. To help us understand that, he took Nebula's doll and threw it into the incinerator.
That's... I can't imagine.
Nebula didn't understand why he did it, only that I was somehow responsible. I started collecting these a few years ago. After Nebula. After I knew I'd never see her again. It's dumb, but I guess I'd do it for her.
Wow. I'm glad I bought this for you. And I can promise that there are zero strings attached to anything I give you. You're an important part of this team, Gamora.
Thanks, Peter. Truly.
I see you have discovered my criminal record.
Yeah. I guess I couldn't help myself. I mean, it's your rap sheet.
I suppose that it is impressive to criminals.
Reformed criminals, as in past tense. We're legit now, remember?
I do not think we share the same definition of legitimate.
Okay, fair, maybe not, but still. Guy who kills Thanos ends up in the most infamous prison in the galaxy? It's gotta be one hell of a story.
Which part would you like to hear, Peter Quill? How I allegedly killed the Mad Titan, or are you enamored by my stay in the kiln?
What was it like in the kiln?
You would not have survived the cycle. Why?
I maybe know someone there.
Then pray they died quickly.
Yikes. It's really that bad?
Worse. However, after the chaos I wrought in my misguided quest for revenge, it was a well-deserved punishment.
Right. The rampage.
That is one way to describe it. After my battle with Thanos, I became convinced that he still drew breath. I demanded proof, but when none was provided, I convinced myself that others were concealing his location. I saw his hideous visage in every shadow, and murdered anyone I thought was hiding him.
Some of which were very bad dudes.
Perhaps. It is not my place to judge.
So, how'd they stop you? Nova Corps, I mean. You're Drax, the Destroyer. There's not a bounty hunter alive who could have taken you down.
I surrendered.
What? Why?
I had succumbed to madness, and become the very thing that I hoped to vanquish. Once I realized that, I could not live with the monster that I had become.
Thanos, obviously. I mean, it's the Mad Titan. He was supposed to be untouchable, and then BAM! Player 2 is joined. Just, how'd you do it? How'd you take Thanos down?
With sorcery.
Come on, really?
Really. After Thanos murdered my family, rage filled my heart. In my search for revenge, I found Mentor.
You mean a mentor, right?
No. Mentor is his name. And his brother Cronus, sorcerers. They gave me a sleeping potion that would grant my greatest desire. Finding and killing Thanos.
You're messing with me.
I am not. When I awoke, I was changed. I could sense the Mad Titan's vile life force. Feel it pulsating from across the galaxy.
Wow, that's a...
I know how it sounds, Peter Quill.
And I believe that you believe this happened. It's just... it's pretty out there. Even for space stuff.
Regardless, I followed the pulse in my mind until it led me to a moon in the Black Quadrant. And there, I found Thanos, hiding like a coward. Our battle waged for days. Each of us trading blows across the moon's inhospitable surface, equal in strength, equal in our resolve to see the other dead once and for all.
And then you delivered the final blow.
I recall throwing a final swing before I collapsed from exhaustion. When I awoke, I was in a hospital on Elanis. Many rotations had passed, and I was being hailed as a hero.
For killing Thanos.
Allegedly. The very fibers of my being say otherwise. I can still feel him out there. I have no doubt in my heart that he survived, just as I did.
Well, the important thing is that you're here now, with us. And we're not going back to prison anytime soon.
That remains to be seen.
Peter, we need to...
Gamora. Hey.
Is that... Corell's Galactic War Commendation?
Yeah. I rescued it from her office. I was planning to give it back to her until...
No one could have predicted that Corell was dead. Or that Nikki would be the matriarch.
Or that she might be my kid.
That too.
She's gonna have questions and I don't even know where to begin. How did you and Mom hook up? Why weren't you around? Did you even want me? I've become my dad.
Do you want to practice on me, answering her questions?
Corell never told me about Nikki. She had a chance to tell me 3 years ago and she didn't.
What happened?
You have to promise not to judge me too harshly.
I can't promise that. I love judging people.
Fine. Corell maybe kinda caught me with a kidnapped 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, I can see why Corell wouldn't have mentioned Nikki.
It's not like that. I didn't kidnap the kid, Yondu did. I told him it was wrong, that we had to give her back, and he... disagreed. So, I stole the Milano, and I was trying to return her when Corell just happened to intercept me.
Mm-hmm.
Look, after the Galactic War ended, Corell and I went our separate ways. I rejoined the Ravagers, and she joined the Nova Corps. It's not like we had a future together. When she caught me with the kid, when I saw the disappointment in her face, I knew I had to turn over a new leaf. Even if it meant turning in Yondu.
You're the reason Yondu's in the kiln? No wonder there's a bounty on your Earth name. He must have been pissed.
Yep. But I'd do it all over again. What gets me is that Corell had plenty of chances to tell me about Nikki, and she didn't. If I had known, maybe...
The important thing is that you know now.
Yeah. I already told Nikki some of the story.
But not all of it.
What was I supposed to say? Hey kid, I hooked up with your mom. I might be your dad.
Maybe not that.
I mean, it was war. I was with the Ravagers hitting CHITAURI supply chains. You know, pirate stuff. None of us had any long-term plans beyond survival. Especially not kids. Hell, I only met Corell because I heard Earth was in CHITAURI's crosshairs.
Mercury, yeah, I remember. Richard Ryder established an outpost on the planet's surface.
An undermanned, undergunned, and horribly outnumbered outpost that didn't stand a snowball's chance in hell when the CHITAURI launched a sneak attack. Obviously, I had to do something.
Nikki would understand that, I think.
It was so close, Gamora. By the time I convinced Yondu to help, the outpost had fallen. We thought we were too late, so when Corell and her squad came out of those caves, she was just so... badass. Her forces had been through the ringer, but she wasn't about to give up Mercury without a fight.
That definitely sounds like the Corell I remember.
I tried to convince Yondu to stay and help retake the outpost, but he saw no profit in dying, so I stayed instead. We spent hours strategizing together, often late into the night. It took 3 days to come up with a counterattack, and even then, it was risky. We thought we were gonna die.
But you didn't.
No, we didn't. And now I have to figure out how to tell my estranged kid her mother's dead. Anyway, until we get Nikki back, we've got bigger fish to fry. This stuff can wait.
True. But when you are ready to talk about it, just be honest with her. The rest will fall into place.
Yeah. You're probably right. I really hope this isn't a bomb.
Hey, don't touch that! Turn it the wrong way and it could blow!
Seriously?
You're so gullible, Quill. It ain't gonna blow. I mean, its core is definitely volatile as scut, and could melt a hole through the floor if an idiot decided to take it apart. But it's practically harmless. Just needs some extra repulsion coils to manage the flaw in the photonic phase capacitor.
But will it damage the ship?
Probably not.
You really go bananas for this stuff, don't you?
What the flark is a banana?
It's this yellow fruit on Earth that looks like a... Never mind. The point is, you're clearly obsessed with this stuff.
Hey, I ain't obsessed. Tech just makes sense, okay? There's order to it. Makes me feel calm. That and it doesn't rip you off like some filthy biologicals I've known.
How are you not obsessed with tech? Look at this place. Your room is... Wow, I mean... Wow.
What's wrong with my room?
You don't even have a bed.
I got a bed.
It's buried under junk.
I prefer to call it a soft shelf.
I just don't know how any of this could make you feel calm. I feel stressed just looking at it, and that's coming from me. If Groot didn't do the laundry, I'd probably never have clean clothes.
Like I said, tech makes sense. Why do you care so much?
I don't know, because you're such a perfectionist.
I ain't a perfectionist. The lead scientist on Half-World, Rakmar, he was a perfectionist. A horrible, free-bagging, scut-ridden, flarkin' son of a chog!
What did he do to you?
Oh, what any self-disrespecting scientist does. Started a super soldier program. Except instead of using one of their precious blueskins, they decided to experiment on us.
Animals.
Lesser life forms. But it wasn't enough that he ripped us apart and jammed us full of cybernetic implants. Oh no. He'd make us perform tasks over and over and over.
Oh, like lab rats.
And if we flarked up, if it wasn't exactly right or up to his flarkin' standards, he'd shock us into unconsciousness.
Holy crap. Rocket,
It is what it is, Quill. Groot says fixing stuff is my way to make the memory of that stressed feeling go away. Make me feel in control again when I get overwhelmed. I don't know. He's probably right.
You got grifted.
Laugh it up, Star Pants.
I mean, that's terrible. Who was it?
A chick.
Really? I didn't even know you liked girls.
She wasn't just any girl. She was a chick. One of them Voldi, bird people.
Mm-hmm. She sounds super special.
Her name was Tella, and she wasn't just special. She made me feel special, like I wasn't some freak show science experiment. She bought me a drink. She didn't even flinch at my implants. I just escaped Half-World, and I fell for her. Hard.
We've all been there, buddy. Half the girls I've dated have tried to kill me. You should see the scars.
Except I didn't know no better. I thought Tella was my friend. And then one day, she convinces me to hack a ship for her. You know, kid stuff. Wasn't even nothing in it for me, I just wanted to impress her.
Yep, definitely been there. Reminds me of this one time with Vrelnexian.
You mind? Anyways, I hacked the ship all right. I hacked it to Scut. The next thing I know, I'm surrounded by a bunch of Badoon thugs. Turns out they owned the ship. While they focused on me, she took off in the ship that I hacked for her. She left me there, Quill. Like I was trash. That's the day I learned to think twice before trusting biologicals. They're not all like Groot.
Groot really is the first one to treat you right, isn't he?
He's my family.
You're lucky to have found each other. Especially after...
Everything.
and then some. I hope you'll see us as family one day, too.
The cold darkness of the promise devouring my soul.
Oh. He didn't light it.
Peter Quill, I did not expect to find you in here.
Hey, sorry. I didn't mean to...
It is fine. Your company is always welcome. And thank you for the gift.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Figured you might want to light it from time to time in memory of your family.
Why would a lit candle remind me of my family? Every memory I have of them has been carved into my flesh.
You... what?
The red scars that I bear. They are a record of every great deed, an important milestone in my life.
Oh. I just thought it was because they look cool.
No, Peter Quill. On Katath, we practice scarification, so that there is a record, proof, that one is worthy to enter Ultath. Such a record is required for judgment in the afterlife.
So, your tattoos are actually a record of your life that's been carved into your skin?
Yes. The process is known as the GILTARA, and is extremely painful. It requires focus and self-control, and occurs many times in a Katathian's life.
No offense, Drax, but they just look like a bunch of swirly lines.
Perhaps to you. To me, they are the most important moments of my life. Each line is composed of 1,000 scars, each engraved with the tooth of a walnut creature.
What kind of moments get recorded? Kill counts? Stuff like that?
No, Peter Quill. A Katathian life record is a record of just that. Major milestones and important events. Like the day I became a man.
Gross.
And the day that Hovat accepted my proposal of marriage. And later the marriage ceremony itself. And the day that Hovat gave birth to my daughter, Camaria. And the day that I lost them both.
Now I see why they're scars.
Yes. Once I believed my failure to avenge their deaths had banished us all to Sarduth. But now, thanks to you and the others, I see a deeper truth. Life does not have meaning without suffering as well.
So, hypothetically speaking, if you died tomorrow, what would happen?
My Chotak, my life essence, would travel to the gates of Ultath. There I will be judged by the great kings and queens of ages past. And if deemed worthy, the gates will open.
And if you're not, worthy?
The gates do not open.
And...
I am cast into Sarduth, where I will cease to exist.
yeah. I guess that's bad. So, how do these kings and queens know if you're worthy?
By reading the scars that make up my life record. From that they will judge whether I am worthy. For some, a life of meaning comes from their trade. For others, their family. And others yet, from following the warrior's path. Each is a valid entry into the gates of Ultath. Hence the record.
What happens if you don't have a record?
Ah, like yourself.
Sure. Like me. What happens to someone like me? Do I just immediately get thrown into Sarduth?
No, Peter Quill. Your record is instead given by those who knew you in life.
Ooh, yeah. I might have some problems.
Doubtful. I've seen your dedication to the Kree child and woman, and to this crew. And what you did for me. It is a testament to your worthiness.
Oh, thanks. If anyone deserves a happy afterlife, Drax, it's you. Think you'll be adding any more to your tattoos?
Yes.
Like maybe a Guardians of the Galaxy logo?
Perhaps.
Good enough for me. All right. Let the waves of calm wash over me. And go.
That's not how that works.
Oh, Gamora!
Since when do you meditate?
I don't, but desperate times and all. Stuff's been a lot lately.
I get it. Allah help me, do I get it?
So, how do you use this then? In case, you know, Rocket asks.
Well, for one, it isn't about just holding it. You also need a comfortable place to sit, where you can be relaxed but alert, and focus on your breathing. Then you practice. A lot.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot more work than I was hoping for.
Anything worth doing tends to be.
So how do you do it?
Focus was something Thanos beat into us early on. But it wasn't until I lived with the priests of Palma that I realized how limited his version of meditation really was.
I can't picture Thanos meditating. I kind of always figured he was this egotistical tyrant.
No, he totally was. But Thanos also understood that aspects of meditation could be useful to his cause.
Like focus?
Focus, increasing overall awareness, pain tolerance. He came up with a series of exercises, fun little games for me and Nebula to compete in as part of our training. The worst part was, we didn't even know what he was doing until it was too late.
What do you mean?
Thanos' brand of meditation warped us, turned us into hyper-focused weapons. That way we were numb to the horrors of his agenda.
Killing people.
Assassination is just a different name for murder.
So how did you cope?
We made puns. Bad, stupid jokes to shout as we were killing people. The more terrible, the better.
Here, I thought you just had a really lame sense of humor.
Oh, I do. But it was the only way to survive. And it was something we did together, a new kind of competition, just between me and Nebula, to see who can make the other laugh.
That's really messed up, and yet oddly endearing.
Yeah, well, even bad puns can only get you so far before your conscience catches up with you.
How did you end up living with the priests of Palma? They're not exactly your kind of crowd with the whole pacifism thing.
Mantis introduced me to them last year, when I needed to heal. They helped me in ways I didn't think were possible.
Helped? How?
I guess you could say I was broken. Thanos, the war, working as an assassin, it'd take a toll on you. By the time Mantis brought me there, I was ready to give up. I mean, I was miserable. Convinced I was beyond redemption or worth. I truly believed I deserved to die.
But you didn't. Die?
No. There was this boy there. A Khan.
The one you hugged in the village.
A Khan was like me. Lost. His parents had died in an accident. He was combative, rebellious, the opposite of a pacifist. The priest thought it would be a good idea for both of us to work through our scut together.
And was it?
At first, not really. He was a pain in the butt. But over time, we came to rely on each other. Thanos had taught me how to meditate in the functional sense, but not in the spiritual sense. Like how to work through my trauma, caring for a Khan. He forced me to reflect and process. And together, through mutual support, Khan and I were able to overcome our demons.
Wow. I had no idea meditation could be so intense.
Or beneficial?
Well, yeah, that too. I guess I should give it a go sometime. Although I'm kind of scared of what I'll find.
Who knows? You might surprise yourself. I know I did.
Yeah, maybe.
We're eager to work for Thanos.
Not for the right reasons, obviously.
Man, this thing is ugly.
What made you bring that thing onto the ship?
Thought we could use it if we ever need to hide our identity during a job or something.
First of all, a GLARNOT mask ain't no identity.
GLARNOT, they're that gang from the planet that rains emeralds or something, right? Or am I confusing them?
It's diamonds.
Oh yeah!
And B, there's only 2 jobs I've ever needed a mask. The time me and Groot knocked over a top-secret lab.
Really?
Oh yeah. The other time was when I borrowed a GLARNOT mask and accidentally stole Groot from the collector.
How'd you accidentally steal Groot?
You have to understand, Quill. I was on the run back then. The war was still raging strong, and them Kree scientists weren't exactly happy I left Half-World. I had to keep a low profile.
By robbing the collector?
I was broke. And no offense, but the way the collector plasters his face all over nowhere like he owns the place.
He doesn't own the place.
Someone had to knock him off his stupid flarkin' pedestal. Fact that I was drunk when I did it just makes it funnier.
Is there a bounty out for you that I should know about?
Relax. Anyways, I lifted one of them stupid GLARNOT masks from some passed out jerk at Mantlo's, stumbled my way to the collector's emporium, put on the mask, flashed some shiny rocks I found, and when his assistant's back was turned, I bonked him on the head.
Oh, you're unbelievable.
I know. It was gravy after that. Once I was sure he was out, I started cleaning out the place. Woke up the next morning on a stolen transport with a bag of loot and Groot. Of course, he was just a baby back then. Barely taller than a weed.
Aw, baby Groot.
I knew right then and there that I had to take care of him. A cage ain't no place for guys like us. We've been partners in crime ever since.
That I believe.
Believe what you want, Quill. Truth is truth.
When did you guys rob a secret lab?
It was before we came after you. This Signog named Wheeler reached out to me and Groot. Wanted us to steal a bioweapon from some research lab in Arago 7. Piece of cake for a crack team like me and Groot.
Wait. And Groot wore a mask for this?
Man, you should have seen him, Quill. Bark naked except for the stupid mask of Thanos. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I bet.
That was until we realized the eggheads on Arago actually hired Wheeler to get us there.
6 out of 10 times it's a trap.
Yep. Turns out they wanted to study us. My implants, Groot's regeneration, super valuable to the right bidder. By the time I realized what was up, they'd got Groot. Locked him in a frickin' cage, Quill. Like an animal.
That's terrible.
Yep, well, joke's on them. We weren't about to be turned into science experiments anytime soon, so I went with Plan B. One explosive charge later, and ba-boom, we were home free.
And the bioweapon?
Sold it back to Wheeler for triple the price.
Nice.
Yep, those were the days.
I'll just put this back. Now that's a knife.
It is indeed a spectacular blade.
Drax, hey, I was just...
There is no need to explain yourself, Peter Quill. Unlike the rodent, I do not mind when others are curious about my things.
It's a really cool blade.
With an equally impressive history.
You recognize it?
It belonged to XATAR the Unfinished, a great Catathian warrior king who led the first pilgrimage to Maklu 4.
Wait, so you're saying this is basically Excalibur?
I am unfamiliar with such a weapon.
It's a mythical sword belonging to a famous Earth King.
Then yes, I suppose you could say this is the Excalibur of my people. It is a symbol of a king and the great hunt he inspired for those seeking to regain a place in Ul'Tath.
So, this great hunt thing seems like a bigger deal than I thought. Did we mess it up for everyone by capturing Fin Fang Foom?
What do you mean?
Well, its purpose is to regain entry into Catathian heaven and stuff, and now there's no Foom to, send you there.
Peter Quill. There are many paths to Ultath. The pilgrimage to Maklu-4 is but one of them.
Right.
When Thanos murdered my family and destroyed my village, twice I chose the path of revenge. First, I raised a small army of Catathian warriors. Even outnumbered, we cut our way through the Chitauri line and challenged Thanos himself.
Dude, wait. On Catath, you faced Thanos twice during the Galactic War?
Yes. But I was not strong enough the first time.
Strong enough to survive?
Thanos allowed me and a few others to live, to set an example. Defeated and humiliated, the surviving members of my squad chose to make the pilgrimage to Maklu-4. But I could not. I continued to walk the path of revenge. Until you helped me put the ghosts of Hovat and Cameria to rest.
To be fair, I had a lot of help.
And yet you have given me a new purpose, Peter Quill. Seems my destiny was not in the mountains of Kakarantara after all, but here, on this ship, with you.
XATAR sounds like a hero of yours.
King XATAR. And he is. Every Catathian warrior knows the story of his pilgrimage to Maklu-4.
Why is he called XATAR the Unfinished, then?
In the history of my people, a rival king attacked XATAR'S lands, easily overwhelming his forces. Captured and broken, XATAR challenged the rival king to a fight to the death, but the conqueror refused, banishing him to a life of dishonor and disgrace instead. So King XATAR went to Maklu-4 to challenge the mighty Fin Fang Foom and change his destiny.
Well, that's depressing.
How is it depressing?
Because he obviously failed. Fin Fang Foom's still alive and kicking, mostly.
He did not fail, Peter Quill. King XATAR did not vanquish Fin Fang Foom, it is true. But he did redeem himself in the eyes of his people.
By dying? Not exactly a happy ending.
By never giving up. A warrior only truly dies when he stops living. King XATAR proved that our stories, the records of who we were in life, are ours to shape. He could have died a coward who lost his place in Ultath, or he could do what I and many of my people believe he did. Change the ending of his story.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us now. I can't guarantee where our path will take us, but hopefully somewhere with lots of money and comfort.
I do not have a doubt in my heart, Peter Quill, that we will have moderate success.
I'll accept moderate.
Peter Quill, spar with me.
I wonder if he knows what it is.
He does.
Mantis! Groot! Hey!
Hey, Star Guy.
Shouldn't you be keeping this in the fridge since it came from Maklu?
I am Groot.
Just like you, Sir Groot.
What did he say?
Oh, just that with the right care, the plant you gave him can survive pretty much anywhere, even on spaceships. I can see why you'd want plants in space. It's so...
Empty?
I am Groot.
yes, dark. And gloomy and doomy. Blech. I prefer home to be on the ground.
I am Groot.
Aw, such a cutie. And if you can't go to your planet, make your planet come to you. Wait, does that make Little Fuzzy your maintenance mammal?
Maintenance mammals? There were creatures like Rocket on your homeworld.
Oh, yes.
I am Groot.
He says there were lots of little furry babies on Tolunia.
Tolunia.
You know, Planet X.
Ah.
But Little Fuzzy wasn't one of them. He's one of a kind. The maintenance mammals on Tolunia were servants to Groot's people.
Gross.
I am
That's terrible.
What?
He says the other saplings were big meanies to the maintenance mammals. They'd hurt them. For fun.
I am Groot.
But Sir Groot says he preferred their company over his people because they were super smart and nice.
I am Groot.
He says their kindness reminds him of Little Fuzzy.
Really? Rocket?
I am Groot.
Aw, you big sweetie. He says he couldn't protect his friends on Planet X, but he can protect Rocket.
He's lucky to have you, man. Hell, we're all lucky to have you.
I am Groot.
Now hug.
Oh,
Maybe later.
what was your home like? You know, before?
I am Groot.
Beautiful.
I am Groot.
He says he wanted to be a forest caretaker, so he could spend time caring for all the wonderful plants that grew there.
What stopped you?
I am Groot.
His dad. Sir Groot's a prince? Just like you, Star Guy.
Wait, your dad was a king?
I am Groot.
A big meanie. He says his dad and the other Arbor Masters were corrupt. They favored the few over the many and turned sentient mammals into slaves.
Why are all dads that happen to be kings always dicks?
I am Groot.
Yeah, power sucks. Even the wisest tree and purest water can be poisoned.
I am Groot.
Sir Groot says it's up to us to be the antidote. Gardening helps him find purpose and healing.
I get it. My mom loved her garden.
Me too.
Well, if there's anything I can do to help you with your garden or make the Milano feel more like home, let me know.
I am Groot.
He says thank you, Pete.